Yeah, it's a fun, exciting project at the Mandara Spa at Atlantis. It is the only spa at Atlantis, and it's extremely large. It's 30,000 square feet, 2 stories, and it's been iconic um, retailer there, or iconic services there at Atlantis for 25 years. And they've been planning this renovation for about 5 years in the design and planning, and we're finally in execution stage. And it's going to be finished in a couple weeks. So it's um, it's a it's a large project, and we're having a lot of fun. We've built all of the millwork and the cabinetry for the project, and we purchased it all around the world and shipped it here to the Bahamas, and now we're installing it. We originally bid on the project, I would say 2 years ago, probably. We bid on the project, and then we have a process that we go through when we really want to win something. We put the extra effort in, right, in trying to help the customer make a decision and help them with their problems or solve their problems. And so with this project, we did a lot of samples. We flew over to Florida and met with the architects. We did an awful lot of meetings. We did renderings. We recorded videos. We did all kinds of things that would help demonstrate our capability and that we could do it, and demonstrate our knowledge that we were the right people to execute what they were trying to achieve, which is a world-class spa that's going to stand out, and that they can really be proud of. There's so much work in the Bahamas, and we absolutely can't do it all. There's way too much. So we look at specific projects, and we decide on where we'd like to work, or the kind of work we'd like to do, and who's a good client, and all those kind of things. So when we narrow all that down, and then in this instance, we still end up bidding on the project, it's worth it to demonstrate what we're good at and tell them our story. So not just a Excel file on a piece of paper, or just an email about here's my price. That doesn't really tell the customer anything about us and who we are and why we would be a great fit for them. So I think it's kind of like our duty and obligation to demonstrate to the customer who we are and why we're a great fit, why we want to work with them. And so, you can call it going the extra mile, but it just, it makes sense, right? And if we want to work with them and we know we're a great fit, we're the best people to execute and give them what they need, then we have to show them that. We have to demonstrate it. So I feel like it's not really extra. It's just part of what we do. So a project this large has a lot of different types of millwork that go through it. It's not just one basic cabinet. There's many different elements for treatment rooms and retail areas, reception areas, lounges, all of these kind of things. So the variety of cabinetry and millwork that's needed across the project is huge, and it involves cabinetry as well as mirrors, glass, metals, lighting. There's a lot of different materials that go into it, and in today's world, it's actually really hard now. It's getting harder to find millwork companies that will touch all of those different materials. Most of the time, you'll find a company that just works in solid wood, or you'll find a company that just does high production particle board cabinetry. But finding custom fabricating shops that will do all of those different things, including fabrics, leathers, we're building banquettes. That's actually really difficult. So as a customer with a huge project and a varying different scope of items, finding a manufacturer anywhere in the world is challenging that can do all of those different elements. So I think that specifically is one of the reasons that we were a great fit, and we wanted to tell them our story and demonstrate that we're able to build all of those things they need, not just one type. So we're a large team spread out really around the world, because we have different manufacturers in many different countries, from China to the Middle East, Canada, and the United States. And that sort of network of manufacturers and support that we have makes us a large team. So when I need like a fabric banquette built. They go to a specific shop and location, and that's where we have it made. We have draftsmen in the Netherlands. We have quantity surveyors in India, and we have accountants in Canada. So we're kind of spread out everywhere, and we purchase from all over the world depending on who's best at what. So as an overall team, we're quite large. Here in the Bahamas, we have a team of installers. And once the product eventually reaches the Bahamas, now we have all the guys that can install it and complete it to the very end. Most of them have been with us for years now, several years. We've continued to keep building the team of local installers, as well as local project managers, executive assistants, those kind of things. Yeah, it's developed over quite a long period. I also have a network of guys that we've worked with, even subcontractors, for many years. So when I need somebody to help us with installing stone countertops, I'll call one of my buddies that's a subcontractor in the stone business, and they come out and help us. And same with fabric and upholstery. We have a local guy we work with that does all the fabric and upholstery. So, but the majority of the actual cabinetry millwork installers, they're all our in-house team that we've been building for years. There's a very long, detailed process on how it all works. Starts with design. We're often involved in design, or when we get to once we get the contract, we start shop drawings. And so shop drawings are detailing, putting in all the fine details into the design work. Once the shop drawings are approved by the client and the architects, then we can go into production. And we have a 3-step process in that production of checking the quality control, the materials that we're using, the way that it's being built, the finished product prior to wrapping it up and shipping it. And then we basically have more processes that go through shipping those crates or those containers, the entire route that they go wherever it is around the world. We follow all those logistics, tracking it daily to when it'll get here in the Bahamas. And then we have the final step of shipping, which is the local logistics of clearing customs, delivering it to the site, staging it on the site, whether there's room, whether the site's ready for it, that kind of thing. And then finally, once we get it in the building, the team is ready to start installing it. So it's a very long, complicated, difficult process to get it on site. And that installation is the last little piece to put it in. So it's been about 1.5 years to this point. We've gone through that entire process, and almost all of the items are here in the Bahamas. And so we're staging them and we're delivering them to the site as we install them. It's a very small area, not a lot of laydown yard. So our team is on site, they'll put things in, and then the next day we'll bring more crates over and they'll carry them into the building and they'll start installing that stuff. So right now, if you were to walk through the building, it's there's different progression. Some things are completely finished, like treatment rooms, where there are 26 treatment rooms for massages, and those cabinets have been installed. We've installed all the stone countertops, and now we're working in other rooms. Yesterday, they installed a bunch of the bathroom vanities in the men's locker room. So every day, there's new elements that get installed, and then the next day, we work on more and more and more. Shipping always seems to be the biggest challenge. It's a little bit brutal. We needed to expedite the shipping to make things get here quicker. So some of the very first cabinets, first products that were ready, we put on sea freight, and that's kind of the go slow method. The rest of it we decided needed to come air freight. So in total, we've built 130 wooden crates, and we're shipping all of the cabinetry, the glass, the fabric benches, and all of the stone countertops. Massive, huge stone countertops go into crates, and they take 2 flights. They've been flying to Paris, France on a small cargo plane, and then in Paris, we're putting them on a 747 that flies directly to Miami. And in Miami, we take them and deliver them to Tropical Shipping, who puts it on a boat to Nassau. So that whole organization of all those 130 crates flying around the world is definitely a challenge. There's, there was bad weather in America, which caused backup in Paris, France, and so there's delays and delays. And when you're sending things on air freight, um, the um, the customer on the plane and their luggage takes precedence over cargo. So flying things with air cargo is just all about a queue. You're in line waiting for space on that plane. And so we'll have, maybe 30, 40 crates sitting there at the airport waiting to go. And when the plane is not full of people and their luggage, then there's space. They'll put our crates on, they'll fly 10 of them over to Miami, and we stage them in Miami before they can go to the boat tropical. So uh, there's been a lot of challenges along the way in making all that happen. Well, every time we run into those kind of problems and challenges, we always like analyze first what are the options. There's always multiple options. A lot of time you have to be creative and figure out how you're going to do it. Initially, when we realized that sea freight was going to take too long and we needed air freight, we started to look into the options, flying things through France, flying them through Turkey, using Air France or Lufthansa. And we actually looked into chartering our own 747, a cargo plane that would bring all of it in one shot to Miami. So there's always lots of options when you're creative and you look into it. Then you can just analyze them, right, and narrow it down to what is the best solution, and this is how it's going to work. Getting frustrated and emotional about it doesn't solve the problems. Like emotion doesn't work well in business, right? You have to be very logical about how you're going to fix a problem and what you're going to do, and that's what we focus on. So I think it works well, and every day the team understands that when we have problems, whether it's shipping or it's on site or something doesn't fit, some countertops showed up broken, so that's a massive problem. Now what do we do? We planned for a lot of those things. We already had spare stone in a shipment on the way so that if something broke, we could use spare blanks and we could make new ones on site. We can repair them a lot of the time, or we might have to reorder new ones, but we have an additional flight of extra stuff coming down the road. So there's always many, many different solutions. That's basically what we do. We'll go through them, pick the best one, and then execute. Maybe getting a massage. I think it's going to be beautiful. I think it's going to be really unique. The spa business is booming, and this is the single largest asset for this company, One Spa World. And so it's a very big project for them. It's very important for them, and it's exciting to be part of it. They're a publicly traded company. I think they're growing and doing really, really well, and delivering this project is going to be a big part of their success. So yeah, it's going to be exciting just to be able to walk in and see the finished product, and I think it's going to blow people away. It's a really great design that they've put a lot of effort into, and they have a lot of other projects coming down the road. So we intend on working with them for a lot of years.